All right, Bucks win, Bucks win, Bucks win. Vibes are high in Tampa Bay. Well, I assume I'm in Orlando, not Tampa Bay, but vibes are high. Big win for the Tampa Bay Buccaneers to beat the Green Bay Packers. And a big reason why this is such a big win is due to the fact that this is a team that could be competing for a playoff spot. Well, I think most people are assuming, NFC South is going to be it's kind of only one of those two teams, one of those three teams are going to get in, and the other two won't. Not exactly the case. I mean, currently, as it stands right now, you have the Saints. They would be a playoff team at 7-7. It would be them, Minnesota, with Green Bay trailing behind. The Rams and Seahawks still have yet to play this week, so they can also get 7-7. But for the Buccaneers, it's good to knock another team that you're trying to play for the playoffs, compete for the playoffs off. They already have a win against Minnesota, so that helps as well, and a win against the Saints, which also helps. In 2 weeks, the Buccaneers play the Saints, which could be a huge game given Atlanta's loss to the Panthers. Looks like it might be between those two teams now. But let's talk about this game. Big win here. The headline, Baker Mayfield, a perfect passer rating. I didn't realize his box score stats. I don't really pay attention to that stuff, but for the video, I wanted to just get those down. I didn't realize he had 381 yards on 28 attempts. That's 13.6 yards per attempt in this game. Absolutely insane. Obviously a big 50-yard touchdown at the end kind of inflates those numbers, but even if you take out the 50-yard completion, he was well over 10 yards per attempt in this game. Also 4 touchdowns, no interceptions. Perfect passer rating for Baker Mayfield in this football game. Obviously he had the one bad turnover early on, which it was on him. It was a bad play. But after that, I guess he just said, okay, can't hold on to the football. I'm just going to try to make every throw I can. And he made every throw, basically. I mean, very few misses in this one. And he was putting the ball through tight windows, too. Listen, this Packers defense I don't know why they still have Joe Barry. I don't know what they were doing. I don't know why they didn't get rid of him when they had the chance, earlier this offseason. I don't know why they went with him for another year. It doesn't make sense to me. If it was me, I would have gotten rid of him at that point. That's just how I viewed it. At the same time, though, well, yes, there was some bad defensive play calls. There also were just some good defended plays, and Baker Mayfield made tough throws. So have to give him a lot of credit. You also have to sit here and think, hey, Dave Canales realized he has Chris Godwin on his roster. Chris Godwin loves playing in Lambeau because, remember, in the conference championship, had a huge catch on a Tom Brady kind of just throwing a ball up there and hoping for the best type play. This time, nothing quite like that, but Godwin making a lot of plays, working over the middle in zone coverage. Mike Evans, nothing crazy from his perspective, but he did have the one long touchdown. Not the long touchdown, that was David Moore, buddy, great play. Really, really happy to see you make that. Got to get into the end zone. Don't be so. That was, because that could have cost them the football game. It really could have. If you didn't see, and are just watching my reaction, David Moore had a long touchdown to put them up. 2 scores late in the fourth, but he celebrated too early, put the ball behind him, like doing whatever he can to not let the ball get into the end zone, and it was they got it in before it was knocked loose, because it would have been a fumble, and it wouldn't have just been short, it was a fumble out of bounds in the back of the end zone. The Packers would have gotten the ball. Fortunately, that is not what happened. Luckily for the Buccaneers, unluckily for the Packers, who had a weird game. I actually thought Jordan Love played pretty well in this game. He made a couple of really tough throws, on that touchdown drive to make it a one-score game. But at the same time, there were also some misses. It's still a work in progress for Green Bay. I think that's fair to say. There were still a couple missed throws, still were a couple miscommunications, that kind of stuff. And I'm not going to. The fumble at the end, whatever. You're trying to make something happen. That's no big deal. But as a whole, I thought Love played pretty well. I think Green Bay is going to kind of regret not giving him more of a chance in the first half. Felt like he was kind of playing with training wheels in the first half. They scored 10 points, which seems okay, but keep in mind, 7 of those were on a Baker Mayfield fumble, so they started, inside the 5. Granted, they also, got to the 5-yard line and weren't able to convert on a 4th and 2, although that was because Love missed the throw. So, a lot of notable things there. As a whole, though, for the Buccaneers defense, there were still some wide open guys. This still was not a great defense. And I mean, at the end of the day, they just can't be happy. Zion McCollum is just not a number 1 or 2 corner. He's a depth player, and when you're asking him to kind of be a starter, like they're asking him to be, it's just tough. It is. They need a healthy secondary. And if they have it, the defense would look better. I can't believe I haven't mentioned this yet, but yeah, the Devin White situation we have to talk about. Devin White, if you did not hear, it was said he wasn't going to play, which, okay, sure, he's been dealing with an injury, but it was apparently not due to the injury, which makes you wonder, well, what was it to? And a lot of people are saying, oh, he got benched because he stinks. Well, maybe, but we don't know if that's the case, and I would actually lean towards there being something else there, because if you don't think he's better than KJ Britt, listen, I don't think he's better than KJ Britt. I agree. I think KJ Britt should be the guy going forward, and I think that he played a good game, and again, just having a linebacker who's typically in position and makes the tackle when he has to make the tackle makes this defense look a lot better. Even if you don't get the splash plays White brings you, I'd rather a guy who's going to, hit the single at a higher rate kind of thing. But yeah, back to Devin White. Again, a lot of people are wondering, well, was he benched due to play? If you're benched due to play, though, you would probably still be on you still as a backup player, right? You'd still be a linebacker out there. You'd probably just be linebacker 3. Usually you get moved down the depth chart. You don't get taken off it altogether. So I'm wondering if there's something else there, and it wouldn't be really fair to speculate. So I'm going to wait until there's more information that comes out here. But yeah, huge win. I mean, can't be overstated really, because winning this game means that Tampa Bay, they play Jacksonville next week, which is a tough game. Now they don't have to win it. The way things broke this week, there would have been a scenario where potentially they almost had to beat Jacksonville, which is that's a tough ask. But now you lose to Jacksonville, that's fine. If they beat the Saints and the Panthers, they're in. That's all you have to do. Win those last 2 games. No matter what happens, you're in at that point. Won't be easy. The Saints are not a terrible team. Saints can absolutely win that game. And if they do, well, then things get really interesting in the NFC South. Although, again, there is a scenario where even if they lose Jacksonville, lose to the Saints, and then beat the Panthers, 8-9 could get them in as a wild card potentially, or even as winning the division potentially, because the Saints still do play the Rams Thursday Night Football. So if you're a Bucs fan, definitely got to root for the Rams this Thursday. And the Saints play the Falcons the final game of the season. So all 3 of those teams are still in it. Brutal loss for the Falcons, but huge win for Tampa Bay. And also, I mean, I got to say, one thing, got to give credit to Rashad White as well. Really playing good football as of late. And also, I don't know, if the Buccaneers have an offense, this is an interesting team. Like, this is all of a sudden, forget about could they make the playoffs. They kind of feel like a playoff team right now, which, a few weeks ago, even though they had a chance to make the playoffs, we were not saying. So really fun back-to-back weeks. So it's been a fun season as a Bucs fan, despite the some downs in the middle of the season. Been a really fun past couple weeks, I think. But 3-game winning streak. Let's see if they can keep it going against Jacksonville. That's what I think. What do you think? Let me know in the comments below. Always love hearing from y'all. And of course, as always, thanks for watching.